Dante's first circle of hell, known as Limbo, is one of the most thought-provoking aspects of his Divine Comedy. Situated just beyond the gates of hell, Limbo is reserved for virtuous non-Christians and unbaptized infants. Unlike the more tortuous circles deeper in hell, Limbo is characterized by sorrow rather than physical suffering. Its significance lies not only in its theological implications but also in the philosophical and ethical questions it raises about salvation, virtue, and divine justice. Dante composed the Divine Comedy in the early 14th century, when the Christian Church held great power and influence over society. At the time, the doctrine of extra ecclesiam nulla salus, outside the Church, there is no salvation, was central to Christian belief. According to this view, only those who accepted Christ and were baptized could enter heaven, leaving virtuous non-Christians, no matter their moral standing, outside of salvation. Limbo was thus a place where people like Virgil, Homer, and other great minds of the classical world were confined because they lived before Christ or outside the Christian faith. Limbo isn't a place of torment, but a sorrowful, peaceful existence. The inhabitants of Limbo suffer from the knowledge that they will never attain salvation, despite their virtue. This evokes deep philosophical questions. Can someone truly be denied eternal happiness based solely on the circumstances of their birth or lack of exposure to Christianity? Dante himself seems to wrestle with this, creating an air of respectful lament for these souls. Among the inhabitants of Limbo are some of history's greatest thinkers and leaders. Dante describes meeting philosophers such as Aristotle, Plato, and Socrates. These individuals were held in high regard even in the Christian Middle Ages for their contributions to knowledge and understanding. Their presence in Limbo underscores a key tension. Dante, like many medieval scholars, revered these figures but still considered them outside the grace of salvation due to their pagan beliefs. This tension speaks to the broader question of whether virtue is enough to attain eternal happiness. Plato's philosophy, for example, emphasized the pursuit of truth and goodness. Yet, Dante's cosmology, rooted in medieval Catholic doctrine, places an absolute barrier between faith and philosophy, between revelation and reason. Today, there are over 1.2 billion non-Christians in the world, a figure that would place vast populations in Dante's Limbo. While many contemporary theologians reject the rigid boundaries of medieval Christian doctrine, Dante's portrayal raises lasting ethical questions. The growth of religious pluralism and global tolerance highlights a shift from the exclusionary mindset of the Middle Ages. According to a 2019 Pew Research study, more than 70% of adults in the U.S. now believe that many religions can lead to eternal life, a sharp contrast to the exclusivist views that shaped Dante's world. From a common-sense perspective, Limbo forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about morality and justice. If virtue and ethical behavior don't lead to eternal reward, what does this say about the fairness of divine justice? Limbo offers a more philosophical view of hell, one where goodness is respected, but incomplete without faith. The idea of limbo may also evoke personal stories. Many people, including those who consider themselves spiritual but not religious, struggle with the idea that their goodness might not count in the eyes of certain religious beliefs. A friend once shared how they felt when attending a religious service, knowing they didn't belong to the faith but still seeking a meaningful spiritual life. For them, Dante's Limbo was a poignant metaphor for feeling caught between moral aspiration and doctrinal exclusion. Dante's first circle of hell offers a profound exploration of virtue, faith, and justice. Limbo is a place of peace, but also of sorrow, raising difficult questions about the fate of good people who, through no fault of their own, stand outside religious salvation. Whether viewed through the lens of medieval theology, modern pluralism, or common sense, Limbo continues to inspire reflection on what it means to live a virtuous life.